First of all, some disclaimers. One, I am not an electrician. Two, I'm referring to taking things from Australia to the Philippines. Thirdly, what I'm saying is just general information, and it's at your own risk. Use common sense. Now what I'm talking about is electrical appliances in the Philippines. Now if you are going to move permanently to the Philippines, I suggest you just sell everything here in Australia and buy new stuff over there. Easy way out of it. Now, travelling to the Philippines, the voltages are different. The Australian voltage is 240 volts AC and 50 Hertz or 50 cycles. The Philippine voltage is 220 volts AC and 60 Hertz or 60 cycles. So that means Australian items taken over to the Philippines run on a slightly lesser voltage but a slightly higher frequency. You can not bring Philippine appliances to Australia and plug them in to the Australian currency, because you've got a 220 rated item running on 240 volts, and if you like fireworks, well, take the consequences. Anything that's plugged directly into a mains current, there is a risk. Small televisions, don't bother, for two reasons. The frequency is wrong, and secondly, the different systems used by the TVs. Australia uses PAL, which isn't Philippine Airlines. It's something to do about phase line alteration or something like that, some acronym. And overseas they use NTSC, which is the American version. Of course, Europe has its own version as well, called CCAM or something else. Why the different versions? Well, that's just the world for you. Look at Australia. Look at the different railway gauges we have between states. Anyway, taking things across to the Philippines, you can take across low voltage appliances, and they will work. When I say low voltage, I mean low current. If it's a heavy drawing current item like a toaster or a small miniature oven or something like that, they require an earth. And some of the older buildings in the Philippines don't have an earth. Now I'm putting out here a couple of adapters and a couple of plugs to give you an idea what's going on. Also, so not just staring at a piece of wood. This 2-pin plug here is what a lot of the older buildings have in the Philippines. It's based on the American system, also in Japan. They have a bit of a disadvantage, I reckon, because last time I was over there, these sockets they plug into often get worn out because there's no switches. You just plug it in to start it and pull it out to stop. And as a result, the little things in the wall socket often get loose, and you plug your fan in, and after a while it just works loose and drops out of the wall. Now this one here is one of the newer ones which you'll find in the more modern hotels and possibly newer buildings. It actually has an earth, and you can actually plug Australian stuff in it with an earth. But I wouldn't recommend using it for heavy drain current appliances. Now one thing to do is when you take an appliance over there, look at the rating. Now this here is a little glue gun. It says on the side here rating 220 to 240 volts AC. Now that'll work in the Philippines. These type of things don't rely on the frequency, so there's no problem. We are taking a little blender across over there. We got it dirt cheap. It's got a motor, and the motor is rated at 220 to 240 AC and 50 to 60 hertz or cycles. Now it works okay in Australia. Over in the Philippines the motor will not run as fast because it will not have much power, because it's only running on 220 volts. And because it's running on 60 cycles, it can run rather erratically. But the blender is only used for short bursts. If you're going to plug it in and let it run for a long time, like a big fan or something like that, it won't last long. The extra high cycle rating will burn it out after a while. Now this here is one of those universal sockets. It takes anything. It takes that plug. It also takes the standard 2-pin plugs. They all plug into it. It also has the adapter on the end. This one here is quite handy to have. It doesn't do anything about changing the current. All it does is just change the positions of the sockets. This is a USB adapter charger for my Handycam. Now, two things to notice. Well, first of all, it takes the 5 volts. It's double insulated. There's only the 2 pins. I know this will work in the Philippines because it actually says it was made in the Philippines, even though it's designed for Australia. It's designed to plug into a standard Australian socket, as you can see. A little bit on the tight side, but also notice that different things between the overseas and the Australian. Notice the little safety shield. You'll find some of these Chinese ones and sockets don't have the safety shield. Be careful of those. That safety shield is designed so if you're pulling it out of the socket and you get your finger caught around there, you don't fry yourself on the live wire. Well, anyway, that's the standard 2-pin one. That's the 3-pin one. And you can actually adapt that one to a 2-pin using that. But I wouldn't recommend it. I also would not recommend getting a 3-pin one and cutting the 3rd pin off. You're being very foolish if you do that. Now I'm talking about appliances here like shavers, electric toothbrushes, low powered stuff like that you take on a trip. Some computers, like on my computer, laptop has a 250 volt input, but doesn't mention the voltage rating, the cycles. Now it will run and charge up using this one or that one if necessary in a hotel, but I wouldn't recommend actually using the computer while it's plugged into the mains, because you're might get transient little transient oscillations from the different frequencies. What you do is you'd probably use this to charge up your laptop and then unplug it and run your laptop from the battery if it runs down. I recommend that to all the appliances over there that you take over there. Again, I'm talking about only low current devices, heavy duty hair curlers and things like that that have earth. I would not recommend using one of these. I recommend buying one over there. They're probably dirt cheap, probably made in China, and probably just as safe, if not as safe at all. Because some of the overseas stuff that comes in can be very, very shoddy constructed. They have no regard for safety. Anyway, that's about all I'm going to talk about. But just remember, if you've got video display screens and something like that, like with computers and that, don't use them with the mains plugged in, or you might get the different oscillations coming through. just using to charge your devices up. Now, these are quite cheap. This one came with my Japanese Handycam, and I said it's made in the Philippines, so you can't really tell what you're getting these days, where they come from. This was made, it's got the line and neutral, and it says travel adapter for export only. I'm most like that's probably made in China. It doesn't say so, but it says 2 amps, 250 volts. This one here, it doesn't say where it's made either as well, but it was bought from it says USA adapter written across it, and that came from a proper travel store that sells reputable items. Anyway, that's about it. As I said, if you're going to go buy some big heavy duty stuff over there and you're going to live over there, just sell the Australian